All right.
Happy, Dave?
I'm recording.
Man, I
How's
need to
everybody
carve it.
doing this week? Woo!
Good.
You know, it's stupid.
Fantastic.
So this is like next week's content, but this is the second episode.
It's kind of like time travel.
We're
So
time traveling.
how are we
week.
going to do this if the last episode was said the next episode will be Deschutes Black Butte?
It's simple. I will say, oh, we got a listener. Like, I'm going to do it right now, Jared. You ready? Oh, we got a listener submission. So we're gonna push out Dave's. We're gonna push out Dave's submission till the following week, and we're gonna do because we care about our listeners so much that we got to get their submissions in first, because that's what we do here on Couch Co-op.
Because
Co-op.
we
the guest tap.
Yeah. And I want to say, hey, welcome to Couch Co-op. I'm Ian, and I'm joined by Jared, Dave, and Aaron. What up, boys?
Hey.
Good evening.
And as you heard, we're pushing Dave's back a week because
We got a guest tap.
that's right. We got a guest submission, listener submission, and but it's funny because it's old Nick. Nick just likes to give us beers.
Nick.
Good old
Nick
Nick.
loves us so much, he gave us more.
He just wants to give us. He just wants to get us drunk. Really, he just wants to get us. I mean, this fucking submission, of course, like
It's
7,
not
6.
Another beast.
of the last one, at least.
What was the last one?
yeah.
I forget the last one. What was it?
9% best enjoyed by Hazy.
Enjoyed
by
Hazy.
That was boozy.
Not as boozy
Yeah.
as this one's gonna be, supposedly.
Yeah,
I
this
thought
one's
this-
only 7.6.
I had
This was
this
weaker
on
than
tap
the
a
last one.
long time ago, and my beer buds have changed drastically since then. So
Well,
I
this is
I don't think I've
gonna be
had
a
this
good
for
thing.
probably 2 or 3 years, at least.
My understanding is this is one of Dave's favorites, and Dave took me to a bottle shop and we were looking for beers, and Dave pointed it out, saying that was one of his favorites, and so it was one of the beers I grabbed and bought, and that was the first time I ever had it.
So I used to distribute this stuff when I worked at Columbia, and this was very popular, and I never got a chance to get a hold of it in the dent room.
Well,
And I'm very curious and kind of excited about this, actually.
all I'm saying is that was like 5 years, probably 10 years ago. So yeah, like I never went out looking for it ever again.
Well, it's the first time for me. I'm
But you know,
hoping it's good.
my taste buds have changed, so we'll see how it goes. What is that
Yeah.
beer? Who wants to? Dave, you talk about this beer. What do you know of this beer? Tell me what the beer is, and tell me what you know about it.
Well, it's I'm probably gonna massacre all the pronunciation, but it's a Spaten Optimator, and it's a double bock out of Munich, Germany, by Spaten Brau. I think that's the correct way of saying it. I'm not that sure.
Brau.
It doesn't actually say on the bottle. Oh yeah, it does actually. Brewed in Munich, Germany, so it has actually come all the way from Germany.
So it is imported. So this is probably expensive.
Yes.
Fairly expensive.
Actually,
Yeah.
on the shelf, it's comparable to like the Newcastle Brown Ale and those kind of, the $10, $11 a 6-pack on sale versus. I've had it quite a lot in 22s. It's also pretty popular for a lot of these German beers to come in individual 22s or 16.9 ounce, I think, bottles.
Yeah, a
depending
little
on-
pint glass, yeah.
Yeah, so you do see them around, and it's pretty nice little beer.
Spaten also makes kind of like a basic bitch lager or pilsner, like kind of like Stella level, right? Don't they make it like a?
Well, yeah, this is a lager. This
They make it
like
too.
the
Yeah.
Bock is generally a stronger lager, so
But don't they have a basic bitch like lower level one? You can get it like Fred Meyer's.
yeah. I think it's actually named after the brewery, isn't it? Spaten Brau.
Yeah.
Spaten
Spaten
Munich.
Brau.
Because I've had
Spaten
that,
Brau.
and it's more clear. It's not as dark as this shit.
It's more like a lager. It's more like what you imagine a lager. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's
Yeah, Doppel
make-
actually stands for double, so it's just a
Yeah.
Bock times 2, which is a heavier lager.
it's
So this-
stronger and more. Well, actually, no, that's not quite the case because like the Bocks are generally a little darker, I believe,
Yeah,
than
yeah, they
a
are.
regular lager. So they tend to have a bit more of a kind of
So what is
toasty
that? What are they
flavor.
doing? What is that process like? So like with a lager, it's very clean, and this is like way darker. What is that process? What's the different?
Mainly the malts you use. I mean, in a traditional lager, you just use you wouldn't use any roasted malts or anything that's been caramelized. Whereas here, you've got malts that have been caramelized and toasted, which generally that's what gives most beers a color. Is like how. So you take the malted barley, which is barley that you've malted and then dried out, and then you put it into a kiln and heat it up and kind of almost begin to toast it and make it go black. And
we're talking about this beer way too much, and we need to drink
it.
We
drink. Less talking, more drinky.
Yeah.
Here we go, boys.
Well, for starters, it's a green bottle. That's a little different to most of the stuff you get here.
I could get that.
Yeah, I mean, green bottle usually means like skunky lager.
Yep, and
it's very skunky.
It definitely has that skunk going on.
So one thing I remember right from a Doppelbock, they have to follow a specific rule, if I remember right.
The German purity rules. You're only allowed malt, water, and yeast.
Yeah.
But they usually state it on the bottle, and this one doesn't. So there may be something else in it, because it usually says,
follow the purity law.
It is dark, man.
You can't even see my face.
Yeah. I can't even see.
It's dark, but it's clear. I mean, if you put it up to a light, you can see through it.
Yeah, but there are some stouts I've drank lately
than clear,
that are
though.
just as clear.
Oh,
yeah, this is definitely more opaque than anything.
Good.
So, okay, so I also find it funny that it says on their bottle malt liquor.
This smells really good.
Well, I think
I think that might be an American thing. They call it malt liquor if it's above a certain percentage, and all it's got in it is malt. But that's lovely.
Yeah,
that is actually
wonderful.
Not bad. This is my first time having it too, and I used to distribute the stuff. So
there's a couple of different types of Bocks anyway. There's a May Bock, which is like the month of May, which is a lighter kind of
clear. It's way goldener.
Yeah, it's the kind of spring version of this, if you want, for want of a better description.
Do they age this or no? It just comes out this way.
Not really, no. There's a double Bock, which is just basically stronger and maltier than the regular version.
Here's a quick snippet from hopculture.com. It's Bock is a bottom fermenting lager, which Dave might be able to explain that, and typically spends extra time in cold storage during the winter months to smooth the intense flavors that develop during the brewing process.
Well, they need to be in there longer then, because this is definitely not as smooth as I thought it was going to be.
It's smooth, really.
It's smooth, yes, but it could be a smidge smoother. Like it feels a little more jagged at the end.
Well, I'm not feeling the 7.6.
No,
yeah,
no, not feeling the 7.6 for sure. I mean, even last week's beer, the Golden Cliff IPA at 7.2, the pineapple kind of flavor was fighting against the alcohol. It was trying to bring it down.
The seesaw kind of one way or the other.
This is next level. Like alcohol.
Ooh,
but I feel like the body's a little bit more intense. I mean, I've only had a few.
To me, it's rocket fuel.
There's some dark beers that have less body than this one. I feel this has a pretty decent body.
This is very rich.
I
like the feeling of it on my tongue.
These are Bocks are generally sweeter anyway.
Yeah.
And if you ever get a chance, you should try an Ice Bock or Ice Bock. So they take this beer and then they freeze it, and so the water freezes.
Like a natty ice is what you're saying. So basically, natty
the water
ice.
freezes out, but the beer remains liquid, and those get like 12% upwards. Those are really.
So that is something
I believe it.
I need to find in Vancouver, Washington, is a proper John's Market or a really good beer store. Like the only one I can think of is like Total Wine and More. I think they have a whole bunch of foreign beers and stuff like that. But there's a Ben's Bottle Shop. I have never been there, but I have a feeling they just have like a small selection of 22s and mostly stuff on draft. So I really need to find a beer store in Vancouver because just going to the grocery stores is a shit show, and you can't find most of the things that you want.
Yeah, sometimes though I kind of like that because I go to John's Market every once in a while, and sometimes yes, I go in knowing what I want and getting right out, but other times I'm kind of just like mesmerized by all the beer. I'm like, what do I get?
You know what's scary?
No.
This is on the weekend of the scale.
FOMO.
The double Bock can go up to like 12%.
I have a question about this beer then. So, like, us Americans, this is kind of... What is this beer's identity in, like, Europe, per se? Is it, like, a high-class beer, or is it, like, a get-fucked beer? Like, what is this beer's identity?
I never really got this when I lived in England. Generally, most of the German beer we got was the kind of Stella Artois, like lagers for drinking, if that makes sense. 4 to 5%, something you can have a couple of, and so I don't think I really had many Bocks before I got here. But I believe this is one of those. This is kind of getting towards the monastics end of things. It was originally brewed by like monks.
That's correct.
To basically supplement their diet and make some extra money from the monastery.
Makes sense.
But this
fucking drunk motherfuckers.
I know,
you fucking drunk Catholic monks, motherfuckers. Like,
this seems like something that you'd actually drink with some nice meal or something like that. This is like a top end kind of dark beer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like it's down here. It's top end. I'm just curious. Like, in Europe, is it really a top end beer, or is it just like a? Is it the Europe's IPA?
Yeah.
I think you even get more specific than that because, like, Germany just has its own beer culture that's not really replicated anywhere else in Europe. Because most places
anywhere really. I mean, who else makes a skunky lager?
They're the old,
really?
Maybe
one of the oldest brewery places.
Belgium and the Netherlands have their own very distinct beer cultures as well, and the UK has like a lot of ales and things, whereas most of the rest of Europe, there are certain like aspects that you see from the other, but they're not as dominant as they are in those countries.
So, real quick snippet I see is an Oktoberfest mainstay. Spaten is the oldest brewery in Munich and one of the oldest and most popular in Germany.
Actually, yeah, they do a good. They do a good Oktoberfest beer as well.
I have had that one. It is quite tasty.
I couldn't imagine drinking gallons of this though.
No, this is like a 1, maybe 2, and oof.
Yeah,
that would be a party.
Yeah.
Oh, a party you wouldn't remember.
3 of these, and I'd be well on my way to.
Yeah, as Aaron said, a party you definitely wouldn't remember.
Their brewery opened in 1397.
It's wild.
Yeah, so monks wanted to get drunk, did they?
Oh, here's the German website, Dave.
Good luck reading it.
Translate. Google Translate.
Yeah, right.
German's it's not the hardest language I ever learned, but it's definitely.
Oh shit!
It wasn't hard. It's just time consuming. You just have to. It's basically the subject is at the front, and then everything else is at the back. That's all I.
See if I can get in. Oh, I got in. Wow, it's like really current. It's a pretty I mean, we don't see any of these beers that they're showing me right now, but interesting anyway.
I bet if you went to John's, I know John's Market has a very good Germanic section, and
yeah, they do.
I feel like Belgium and Germany are two areas that are lacking in my beer knowledge.
Yeah,
it's funny they have a couple dudes dressed as monks, like literally pouring beer. Like what the fuck? No, you know what the funny thing is about this website, and you guys can check it out. But their beers don't look like this. They're like more contemporary and new looking. I feel like this beer is meant to look old, like a style, like it's.
You
know what I mean?
find that a lot. Like I mean,
like staple beers. Yeah.
What's the
Samuel
Smiths that you get over here? Their label looks like it was designed 100 years ago. It's kind of like, it's a fine line between tradition and modern. I feel like they've got the market penetration they want to get, and they're not, they're not trying to ride as a fad beer, for want of a better description.
Yeah, I love the smell of the malty.
Yeah, it's got that really good.
Isn't that what it? I mean, it's incredibly malty, right? Isn't that what the flavor is kind of coming from?
I love that smell.
Yeah, all those
one of my favorite
malts
smells
and stuff in there is giving it that. Like big body.
Because there's no hop. You don't taste any hops really. You don't.
No, it's just beer.
Lagers generally have a little bit of hop, and that's the other thing about Bock is it's generally really under hopped.
I feel like alcohol. It's like alcohol caramel, kind of. It's like a bottle of alcohol caramel in my mouth. That's what I get.
So I will say this. I will say this. Compared to the last beer we had last week, this one kind of just steers you into the alcohol, because the last one kind of like helped you along with the sweetness of the pineapple, but this one kind of just goes, here's some alcohol.
Well, this reminds me of my favorite process of brewing, the worting, and that's like when all the grains are mashed and fermenting and all that.
That
smell is intoxicating. It's the most fantastic thing, and this beer is that.
It's really foamy though, man. Is there a lot of sugar in this beer?
Oh yeah.
Is there? I mean, in my bottle,
it is quite sweet. I'm not seeing much. Well, I poured it out, so I'm not getting as much foam. But
I don't know. I haven't. I'm just drinking in a bottle, and it's just fucking heady. Heady in the bottle. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem when I poured
it
out. Quite the mouthfeel, doesn't it? It's pretty impressive.
But it seems like a really sticky sweet beer. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this would cause a hangover if you had one too many of them, honestly. Because, it's like you said, it's kind of sweet, which kind of indicates they have a lot more sugar in it than
don't they just sell these in 4-packs? They don't sell 6-packs, do they?
I think
these are like smaller batches.
Oh, but those are just single bottles too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's that whole 4-pack thing. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty certain they do.
They used to do 6-packs, but
I've never seen it in any packs. I've only seen it in bottle shops and singles.
Well, the other thing about this beer is there aren't that many beers that are actually brewed in the home country and imported. Like the Newcastle Brown we had a couple of weeks back. It's that beer's homeless essentially. They just brew it wherever and stick a Newcastle Brown label on it.
Yeah, it's a lost soul.
Right.
Whereas this is actually still brewed in the, at least in Germany, it might not be brewed in Munich, but.
Like Budweiser hasn't found a way to say, hey, we're going to take this beer and make it worldwide. So we're like, you guys can just keep doing your thing. Just, you do you. But like, someday they're going to make like a light version of this. And it is kind
of sad in a lot of ways, because a lot of the great tasting beers, a lot of it has to do with the local water that they use and the ingredients they use that are local to the brewery. Because
I find it hard that Newcastle had great water. So
actually, Burton-on-Trent has some of the best beer brewing water in the world. And
the Rocky Mountains, Kona Island.
It depends on what you're brewing.
I guess so.
And that's why when I'm brewing beer here, I never use water treatment to try and get someone else's water, because I feel like water is one of the key and most overlooked ingredients in beer.
Well, that's why, last week's episode with Kona, they wanted to make sure Hawaiian water was like the most important ingredient to their shit.
But I still feel it's cheating if you just make the water chemistry match what it is in wherever the beer was originally brewed. So it's kind of like if I brew a bitter in Portland and I'm going for an English style bitter, for a particular region.
Oh,
I'm
for
going to
sure.
use the water here because I
agree.
want it to taste my like twist on it kind of
I
thing.
100% agree. I'm just saying, like it's.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's
This,
like some
I
breweries.
have to admit, I'm drinking this at more of a cellar temperature.
Yeah.
So maybe that has a change
I
on
started
the
cold.
flavors I'm having or the foam. So because I didn't have this in the fridge over the weekend or anything like that, I just kind of had it in my garage.
It starts to taste kind of meaty
I'm really
too.
enjoying it.
Yeah, I think. But honestly, that's probably the temperature it's designed to be drank at.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's not designed to be drunk at like 34 degrees Fahrenheit or just above zero.
I am a fan of dark beers, so
we did not ask Nick what game for this one last time we donated a beer we did, but I didn't ask him about this beer. What game? Does any of you want to tackle that? Like, what game should this be paired with?
Oh, I'm thinking Resident Evil 7, something like dark and intriguing.
I'm thinking a Resident Evil series game.
Yeah,
absolutely, yes. But
okay, so Resident Evil 7. Nope.
What?
Aaron's saying.
I go.
Yeah, why not? I played the Village demo this weekend, so let's Resident Evil it
Aaron's
up.
saying 5. Hey guys, we need to pick one because if you pick them all, then like you can't pick any Resident Evil ever again.
Okay. Well, whoever gets the second one.
Dave started it, so let's go with 7.
We're gonna go 7.
Okay. All right, I'll go with 7. I didn't play it, but I'll go.
So the other thing about this beer,
I don't like Resident Evil series that much.
I'm with you, Aaron.
It seems weird to be drinking this beer this time of year. This, like the flavors and the maltiness.
Is this a winter beer?
Yeah,
is this a winter beer?
This is a fall winter-ish.
I don't think it. I think
fall.
it's all year round. But to me, this style of beer is something to be savored by a like roaring fire as the night close in. You know.
Or a nice hearty meal. I could drink this any time of the year as long as I have a nice meal to go with it.
Roast meal. This would be a good hunting camp beer, 1 or 2 before you pass out for the night.
I think this is definitely more of an autumn, fall-ish beer. It's definitely more for like colder nights, and you're not going anywhere for the night, but you're just gonna have fun, and you kind of remember the night, kind of. Yeah, it's definitely something you don't do.
Snuggling with your rhinestone cowboy.
Yep. It's good though. I definitely.
Okay, everyone, bring it in. Where's our thumbs at? Where are our thumbs at?
Do we have to do some kind of? Yeah.
I love dark beers, and the Spaten Optimator is super good. I really like this Doppelbock.
Okay, I dig it.
Really good. Thumbs up.
Okay.
Ian's not a big dark beer fan.
He likes his lighter beers.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he gave it that much of a thumbs up. So his thumb is up compared to what I thought he would actually give.
Well, I can kind of see Ian's point. It's a bit cloying after a while.
Yeah, exactly.
A while it does get very sweet and like almost too malty. So
it
I
kind
can
of
see how you wouldn't enjoy that necessarily.
Hey, I will say this. From the time where Dave recommended me, I drank it like a few years ago, where I just did not like it, and I don't even think I finished it that night. My taste buds have changed quite a bit. They've evolved. So this is
It's a big improvement.
I'm never gonna buy this beer. I'll drink it if it's given to me. I'm never gonna buy it. I'm never gonna buy this beer.
I'd buy a 22 of this beer. I honestly would. Not a 6-pack.
That's exactly where I am with this beer. I would not. I like the Gold Coast the other week. It was like 1 is enough.
It's really
tasty, and I really enjoyed the 1. But
here's the funny thing:
if you have a German restaurant near you, such as Gustav's, they used to have it on tap. Just order a liter of it. And it is so good on draft. I haven't had it for a long time, and it makes me really want to go fishing for it because I'm really enjoying the Optimator.
Here's the funny thing: if I had another one right now, I would drink it.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. It would never be a beer I would just like. Oh, I want that.
You wouldn't choose it over Stella, yeah.
Or I wouldn't choose it over anything. But I would just like, hey, if I had like a 6-pack in my fridge, like some left, I'd totally drink it, and I'm okay with it. It's like a.
You drink it and enjoy it.
It's rich. Like, you know how you say like a chocolate cake is like a super rich chocolate cake?
Yeah.
This is a very rich beer.
It's filling. It is.
It's filling and very rich. And
yeah, this is what when people say like Guinness is like drinking a meal, this has that kind of
for sure.
feel to it. It's like my mouth feels just like
honestly.
And that's not my thing for beers. I want, you know me. You guys like your more meal beers. I like my like quick beers. I like my light beers. I like my lagers and pilsners. I like to just slam some beer and I like to be drinking. But you guys like your meal beers, and that's cool.
So, that's fine. That's fine. I'm actually surprised you gave it a sideways thumb. I thought you would have given it a thumbs down. But for me, I don't drink throughout the day. I'm not like, I can't go through a 12-pack in a day. Like a lot of people can. But I actually sit down and really drink and actually think about the beer I'm drinking, and I'll have maybe 2 or 3 beers a few times a week. So when I sit down and have a beer, I want it to actually make a statement versus just like, here's some water.
That beer definitely makes a statement.
Yeah, it does. It's something that when you sit down and have a beer, you're not just like, oh, well, I should have just had some water, kind of thing.
Right.
This is like, all right, yeah, this was substantial, and I really enjoyed it, and it went well with my
I
night,
guess that's
it's something that really worked well.
That's the life we lead, right, Jared? Like, you live the life where you got to be sober 100% of the time, and then you want to get fucked. And I'm like, I live a life where like I just want to get slowly fucked throughout the day.
Well, yeah, having a Class A CDL and driving for a living, I can't sit down and get trashed every night. And so I choose to have maybe a beer or 2 a night, if that. So when I drink, I want it to be actually something flavorful.
He wants it for the taste, is what it sounds like.
I'm not going out to buy Budweisers and Coors Lights. I'm going out to buy something that is going to really make my taste buds
Budweiser
happen. They're reacting to what I'm drinking.
I'm gonna make you guys drink Budweiser again. I feel like that's a very underrated beer.
Shoot.
I feel like that beer is one of the greatest beers of all time.
It's fine, but I'm not spending the premium beer price on a lager.
People put that beer in like a category, and it doesn't deserve it. Anyway,
instead of Budweiser, I will buy beer here.
No, but see, it's not in the pub beer category. It's in a separate category. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now.
We will do the Budweiser someday, and I know that you are going to select it, probably in the near future.
No. I have a different beer I wanted to do next, but
okay.
We already know. So we're wrapping this up right now. Hey, woo! We pushed the next episode. So the next episode was Aaron. Aaron, what was your next beer?
It was the Black Butte Porter from Deschutes Brewery out here in Oregon.
That's right. So we're doing Black
He
Butte.
loves Bend. He is always deep within Bend, and
I'm surprised you and Ashley aren't just going to
move. He bends over Bend.
We considered that actually, but for different reasons. But yeah, consider that actually. So that's the whole thing.
So Aaron's Black Butte Porter next week, we promise. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find us. Hey, guys, we're a podcast, and you guys obviously have found us. But more people can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all that shit. All the places where all podcasts are. Anyway, you can also go to anchor.fm/The Couch Co-op Show. You can leave a message. Record a voice message, and we'll play it on the show. We promise.
Tell us how bad and annoying we are. Anything. It's just funny.
Or just recommend a beer.
This beer is available all around the world. Or
everywhere.
Most of Europe and North America. And it's widely distributed, Spaten Optimator and Double Bock. Give it a try. I mean, it's not like anything you'll.
It's the one thing we have in common with Double Bock. We're also available all around the world.
It would be really fun,
everywhere.
listeners, because we always announce what beer is going to be next, for the most part, or it's going to be in the headline of the podcast. So maybe if you want, just like grab the beer and drink it with the podcast. And it would be really cool, even on Twitter, just whatever you want to communicate with us, a voice message or whatever. Just like, were we talking about the right things? Did you enjoy it as much as we did? Who do you agree with more or less? Are we just a bunch of complete idiots? And it could be fun. Just we're not going to make fun of you or anything like that. We're very open to
medium thumbs
up, thumbs down.
That's
just quick, like, hey, I like this beer. The end.
Jared makes a great point.
Make it quick.
When you if this is your first episode and we have a bunch of other episodes, try and find the beer and drink the beer during the episode and experience the episode that way. Exactly, Jared. I appreciate.
If you work for the brewery and you listen to this podcast, it would be really cool to hear from you, because there's a lot of employees that work for these breweries, and it's a really awesome job. Probably underpaid, unfortunately, but it would be really cool to have your opinions and thoughts about the brewing process and your experiences with the beer industry. It would be really cool.
This is the longest episode
a topic
of all time.
That's okay. We're still in the early days of our podcast, and it's just throwing ideas out for possible listener interaction.
Yeah.
Or even if you are a new or upcoming brewery person that says, hey, we should try and get these people to do our beer. Throw it at us. If we can find you, we will try you out.
Yeah, 8-Bit Brewing. Send us some beer, fucker.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Or Sun River Brewery. I know people there. Send us your beer. We will try it.
Anyway,
yeah.
We're not begging. I mean, maybe we are a little bit.
It's more for fun. We're gonna buy the beers and do the episodes anyways. But if you have a beer that you want us to try, if you're a brewery, if you're someone that is a beer enthusiast and really want somebody to talk about a beer that you love that nobody else around you is talking about, that is how you will get somebody to at least talk about it near you.
Yes.
In your ears.
For sure.
Hell, if you're a homebrew enthusiast and you've got 4 12 ounces that you just want some criticism on.
As long as you don't fucking poison us.
Yeah. As long as it ain't gone bad.
I would not like that.
We're not like desperate for beer or anything like that. We can buy our own beer, but if you got it, cool. If not, cool. Whatever. You know, we'll do our best to get it.
Oh man.
We'll figure a way around it. And if we can't do it, then we can't do it.
All right. I get it. All right. So yeah, anchor.fm/The Couch Co-op Show. You can leave messages. So just say what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right, or recommend a beer. You can also donate to us. You don't have to do that, but it's super cool if you want to donate some money, and we'll buy a beer in your name. Aside from that, you can find us on Twitter at couch_hop, and we're on Twitter. That's all.
Let us know if you want us to stream it.
That's all. Yeah.
We'll drink with you.
Yeah, you want us to stream it? I mean, we can stream it, and we'll let you know what the beer is ahead of time. We'll stream it live, and we can do it all together. It's one big happy family. I want to say thank you to Jared, Dave, and Aaron.
Thank you, Ian.
It's always nice to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick, because this was a great
day. Oh, yes,
I really enjoyed it.
For sure, Dave. Thank you for reminding me, to thank Nick for recommending this beer, for giving us this beer. Hey, if you're in the local area and you want to reach out in the DMs and say, hey, I want to drop you guys off some beer, we'll also deal that. We can figure out a way to figure that out.
Or you guys should try this beer. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No money involved.
No money.
Say, hey, try it.
No money, no beer involved. Just say you should try this beer, and you can say we should try it because it stinks as well.
Yeah, you can give us a shit beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make us all drink Steel Reserve or some shit like that.
There's a beer all your buddies like that you can't stand. Just, maybe to validate your opinion, just let us know.
Yeah. So, anyway, for Aaron, Dave, and Jared, I'm Ian. For Couch Co-Hop, drink responsibly.
Be excellent to each other.
Beer for you,
buddy.
beer for me, into you. And
I think
into
we're
me.
feeling this
Go.
one.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot looser.
Well, this beer is a lot
good job,
stronger
gentlemen.
feeling than last other time.
Good job, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.